and I'm not that interested in the monk. But if I'd known he was out there, I might have picked some other place to go. Max said, "Well, it's been a long time since the two of you went into Germany together. That was the Hofbaden job, wasn't it? I seem to remember that you were pretty rough on him." "Rough hell," I said. "I'd have killed him if I hadn't needed him, the murderous bastard. It was a perfectly simple job, but he wanted to make a wholesale massacre of it. Is he still getting his kicks from blowing up people in bunches instead of one at a time?" "Monk's been a good man for us," Max said evenly. "He has been very effective." Something in the careful way he put it caught my attention. "Has been," I said. Then I said quickly, "To hell with it. I don't want to know anything about it, sir. And to hell with the monk, too. I'm not looking for any more trouble with him, but I've already got my reservations, and I'm damned if I'll change them for him." "No, of course not," Max said. He was still studying me thoughtfully, rather like a cat with an interesting new mouse, but he often looks like that. "Well, have a good time, Eric. Don't forget to stop by the recognition room on your way out." This was his customary form of dismissal. We're all supposed to spend an hour or two studying the current dossiers whenever we're in Washington, and it's a dull chore, and he's afraid we'll try to dodge it. As I went down to the basement where the recognition files and projector are located, I told myself that there was no more to the reminder than that. But the memory of his thoughtful expression and his uncharacteristic curiosity about my vacation plans stayed with me. I couldn't help wondering if he'd had some cute idea that meant trouble for me. Well, time would tell. He's not a man whose mental processes I try to anticipate. I couldn't help wondering, however, if he'd had some particular reason for telling me about the monk. In any case, it wasn't cheerful news, because Monk came under the heading of the kind of unfinished business we normally try not to leave behind us. I mean, it's only on TV that you make bitter enemies in one installment and let them live to raise hell with you in the next. If Monk had been an enemy agent, I'd have shot him dead the instant I had no further use for him, as a simple act of self-preservation. As it was, I'd brought him back to base alive, knowing that I was probably making a mistake, and that it was a mistake the monk himself would never have made. Mac was perfectly right. In a technical sense, Monk was a very good man. He was a genius in the field of high explosives, where my own knowledge is less than adequate. The only trouble was he just loved to see things blow, particularly if the things had people in them. Personally, if I'm assigned to get one man, I like to get that man. This business of demolishing a whole landscape with figures, even enemy figures, just to erase a single individual seems pretty damn inefficient to me. As the agent in charge, I'd had to lean on Monk pretty hard to make him do things my way. He wasn't the man to forget it. By this time I was sitting in the dark of the projection room, watching the lighted screen display the opposition faces I might come across where I was going. The telephone rang. Smitty, the crippled projectionist, turned his machine to automatic and hobbled off to answer. He'd once made a mistake in the field, so now he had charged down here, a reminder to the rest of us that mistakes can be pretty permanent in our line of work. He was gone for a while, long enough for the automatic projector to run out of slides. When he returned, he fed it again, and suddenly Monk was looking at me from the screen. Older than I remembered him, of course, but with the same hulking shoulders and oddly sensitive, handsome face. I'd never decided whether Mac had picked that code name for him because he was built like a gorilla or because he often wore the expression of a saint, and I'd never asked. There had been more important things to worry about at the time. I was shown several recent views of the man, and a complete dossier, the works. Then I was given a rundown on the rest of our Pacific people, old and new. I'd started to speak, surprised when Monk's face first flashed on the screen, but I'd checked myself. Smitty knew his business, and obviously he'd received his orders from upstairs. Of course, it was strictly irregular. Normally, we're not allowed to know anybody in the outfit we don't absolutely have to know, nor are we given unnecessary information about the agents we do know. In all the years I'd worked for Mac, I'd never even got a clear idea of just how many other operatives he had reporting to him. The only ones I'd recognized were the ones I'd had occasion to work with, and I was supposed to do my best to forget those. For me, a field man...